episode of Top Corner Talk, a St. Louis City therapy session once again. And this one will be quite interesting because we do have double digit numbers, but not in the
And what?
score
And
line.
loses?
Yeah. And there's no loss today to discuss. So I think that's an improvement other than the score line. But there's Oscar, Jeremy, and Mo. So straight to business. Dallas came to St. Louis with a interesting tactic. The game ended 1-1, but there's a huge topic that's been talked about so much during the aftermath of the game, and we'll have Jeremy, our good friend, the expert on data. We'll talk about those 43 shots. So with that said, Oscar, how are you doing, my friend?
Still recovering my voice. But I mean, it was some sort of enjoyable game. I had a blast in the game, not because of the game itself, but because of what I was doing. Um, it's just unfortunate that it was one of those games where you get a man up. The opposite team gets a red card and it just plays against you instead of playing in favor of you having an extra man. It just plays against you. So it was unfortunate that City was not able to um, figure the things out correctly.
Right?
And then it just trying to get a goal in the same way every single time, and it was just like cross after cross after cross, and instead of trying something different.
Did you say crosses? I don't know if that's something that we do. You sure?
No, they just send the ball up over there and see what happens. But oh, my dog is going crazy.
So, fellas, before we dive too far into this, I don't think we're live on YouTube.
You sure?
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah,
Yeah, the YouTube chat is blowing up and
Oh,
does
what
not
the
look at
hell?
all like we are live
we're not.
on
We're
YouTube.
not. Yeah, because I open YouTube and still waiting.
That's
Yeah,
weird because I it's
yeah.
showing
It
that
says
we're
we're
live.
live
Let me
on
get that dude.
Riverside, but
Let's see.
I thought I'm just seeing it.
yeah, because I noticed we don't have a chat at all. It doesn't look like on our
Hmm.
side.
Come on, Riverside. What are we doing?
Let's see. So live stream chat. Yeah, we're not connected at all. That's weird.
Uh, that's weird because I have a live one. What?
Yeah, I mean we're the I think the recording is live, but it doesn't look like it's linked to YouTube.
Oh my goodness. Give me 1 second. Yeah, it's showing live. Hey, Matt just says we're live.
Matt, who?
It just says Matt.
Oh, I'm looking. Yeah, I mean the YouTube page itself has not.
Oh, it looks like it created a different one, not the upcoming one.
Oh, gotcha. Oh,
Yes.
there it is. Welcome to our live show.
Yes. That's a weird one. So it looks like we might have to just make a quick change on that part. But
All right, we'll have to tell everybody. I'll have to tell people in the chat to jump over.
oh my goodness.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh my goodness.
Oh man.
Riverside, what are you doing? Having a little
Um.
technical difficulty.
Yeah. So I will throw this
Yeah,
link
Oscar looks like
into.
he
So we
created
need
a
new link, right?
yep.
Yep. Yep. Which means I'm gonna have to retweet it as well, but that's okay.
Hey.
Fun times on Top Corner Talk.
Well, might as well just add it to the count of missed shots. So
That's
now it's
exactly what this
44.
is. Oh man, that's too funny. Where did the live go? Wait, did the other one get replaced now on YouTube, or did you take it down? I don't even see it now. Oh, this
Oh,
is too.
Tyler, look at that. Yes. So I just went
All right.
and resent it.
All right. Well, that's been a fun intro to the show, man.
TikTok boys, TikTok.
You know what? I didn't. Okay. I'm not gonna say anything.
Man, Ryan, you just come and
So let's just rewind.
back it up. Back it up.
Hello,
back it up,
everybody.
back it up.
Welcome to Top Corner Talk.
All right, Oscar's officially the host this week.
Yes,
I'm just here, and Mo is the man. That's all I know.
No, you know what?
I am just here,
just
trying to not laugh too loud.
Oh boy, there you go. Hey, at least people are happy to look at that. Matt Jones just said, "Here they are." That's and
Here
just like we said on the
are.
edit chat, is that just like City, we're missing a few shots. So,
yeah, it's
what
an
more
adventure,
can we
that's
say?
for sure. So is the front office of this show getting replaced next? Is that on the to-do list for City or no? Since we can't go live on time.
Is there a front office? Because do you know something I don't know?
No, not yet. But apparently our success at going live is about as accurate as City's crosses.
Hey, one more cross, bro. Just one more cross. So,
I think I heard Matt Baker reporting that they were still throwing crosses into the box earlier today.
Yeah,
They were still missing.
Well, at least I think the cross went all the way to Slew, and then they were able to finish it based on what Jeremy just.
That's true.
Yes,
that's true.
All right, so let's see. Missing a few shot on me. That's
yeah. I think the count shots by today is like 164.
Oh yeah, I mean,
and how many on target is the question?
None.
Oh man. Well.
Oh wait. There's some on target, but they're all straight to the bodies of the goalie.
You know, either way, happy to be live on Top Corner Talk with my friends in soccer, talking all things that we can about. I don't even know the words you would use to describe this one. Oscar, do you want to recap us as we rewind the show on your overall thoughts of this 1-1 draw against a 10-man Dallas?
Yeah, I mean, I had a good time in the stadium. I had a good time. Previews and Fiesta football. We had a good time with a good group of friends. We did a lot of different activities. Our march was great. There was a very nice work from Fleur de Noise. They had a campaign for this game that it was fighting against cancer, and especially like children's that they're fighting cancer. So that was very nice. They have a good banner, very nice banner, and everybody was committed to the cause. They were doing different things as well on their street parties. March was great. There was a good energy, surprisingly, to be honest. With the way we are in the season, we're almost done with the season, and coming from a loss. I think there was a good energy at the beginning. Then we got into the stadium. It seemed to be great as well. And the team started on the front foot. That does something that it's always good to see that they were trying. I'm not sure if it was virtue of City or it was more like what Dallas had planned for the entire game. But it was definitely dominated by City in the beginning of the game. But I mean, unfortunately, at the end of the game, it's just something that it was very tasteless. It's a tasteless result. You're really trying, but not trying good enough to get something going. You can give them the effort, but at the same time, like with effort, you're not gonna win games. You're not gonna make yourself a playoff contending team. I think with effort is one of the steps to do it, but at the same time, you have to do that with quality. And we can tell that there was not enough quality in any of the plays that we were building. So
Good point. And so, how much do you put that into Dallas? Because um, they were one man down, but it looks like that almost did not matter to them because they were still pressing as much. Because sometimes when you're down one, you pretty much take one of your forwards for a defender or goalkeeper, whichever, and then after that, you kind of try to absorb as much of the pressure as you can and try to survive. But clearly Dallas had a point to make because they did not just try to survive; they were trying to win the game.
Well, they were trying to win for the first half. I mean, the second half, and we'll get there, but they sat in the block.
Yeah,
I think that was probably the most surprising thing to me once Collodi got sent off for the tackle on Klaus. They sacrificed a midfielder to bring on the third string keeper in Jackson, and I didn't expect them to continue trying to go forward. I thought they would sit a little deeper, kind of go into that block, especially once they went down. I thought what they would do is try to minimize the damage and then try to hit on a counter. Like, lull us into that piece of let's move forward, continue getting City to throw bodies forward, and then hit us on a counter. But they didn't really. I mean, they really were kind of toe to toe with us for the rest of that first half. Which that was the most frustrating thing to me watching that game.
that. So it's almost the fact that they weren't even afraid of City because they were like, even if we're down one, we're still going to play our game. That's how it felt like.
yeah,
Well, I mean, they had something to play for.
and if
Mhm.
and if you think about it, so City never changed the script of the game. Like what they started doing in the first half, they continued doing it for the 90 minutes, and it was like getting wide, trying to get crosses in, and finding something in those, either like a second ball or like the first ball. But the first ball, we were not strong enough to win headers. So I was just looking at what we made the center backs do. One had 12 clearances and 7 head clearances, while the other one had 8 and 7. So if both of the center backs have 7 head clearances, it's already telling you that you are not strong in the air. Stop crossing the ball
Yeah.
or send the crosses low.
Well,
But none of those, you were trying to switch that script, and we were just playing to the style of that what Dallas wanted to. Dallas wanted you to send the ball in the air, keep going. We feel comfortable, and they did it. Even when you get them in down, that doesn't change on their backs, and they had 2 stronger players on the front that they were still creating problems to 4 of our defenders, like
Yeah.
2 of them, because there was no more. It was just 2.
Yeah, Peter
well,
Musa was different.
yeah. Well, so here's one thing. I think Mo, you said in the intro, you pointed out we had 43 shots. If you look at the numbers, a third of those were blocked, a third of those were on target, and a third of those were into the stands. Not good
Mm.
enough. I've got numbers on like the quality of the chances too, because that's my thing is you can have 100 shots, but if there are 100 shots with negligible quality, it doesn't matter how many you have, in my opinion, right? Like you've got to have quality shots, not and stop being so predictable in the final third.
Yeah, especially if I guess what is a soccer player, if you launch the ball in the air once or twice, you should be able to recalibrate yourself. To go from the stands, the upper deck to maybe to the middle and then lower. So I think that was probably one of them. And I think the other part is that they kept trying. Their shots were so high for majority of the time, so Jackson was able to stop him. I don't recall any lower corner shots during the game. They did not really test him there because he was credits due that he was making some crazy save when the ball was in the air. But like Oscar said, they did not change the script to challenge him on other of his skills because we just made him man of the match of the week pretty much because of his 12 to 13 saves, which most of them were closer to his body than you like to.
Yeah, I mean the thing on all the shots that went in either were right at the goalie. The ones that they were on the ground, they were right at the goalie or the body in the middle section, or they were up high in his zone because he didn't have to move to get the save. He was just like reaction
Yeah.
save up in over the top. Um, so like I said, not enough quality on those finishes. They seemed they were all rushed, and they were not trying to look into legit open spaces. Even though, like obviously Dallas was sitting back, but how was the goal from Celio? Like you moved the ball correctly to find the empty person, the empty player that had time to get a good shot. But we didn't do that after that. None of them. They were all rushed. They were all like 50-50 balls that they were kind of like get there. Um, and it's just at the end, it feels everything so forced.
Yeah, and it was well forced and predictable because I don't know why so many crosses. I think one that's is it the easier option or is that something that they practiced because they thought they were going to be able to take advantage of it? But yes, as we get a little closer to the second half, but let's talk about the first half itself because that's where we had most of the goals and actions. Um, so what was your guys' thought on the serial goal and the progression first that led it to it?
I think
Go
that
ahead.
play was the only play that it was different in the entire game. They actually looked to build up into something. And even though before the goal we had two chances that they were creating by making the ball move quick
Right.
and switching from one side to the other. I believe the one that you get saved by the goalie before he got the red card. Hartel gets wide open on the right because the movement was from right to left and then back to right, like all the way back.
Mhm.
That he was wide open. He got that good shot, good save on the ground. And then I think um, Klaus gets the other one that gets a good shot, and then it's another good save. But it was the moving of the ball from wide areas into a central area, forcing the defenders to keep track of all those movements, getting wide and then getting narrow again, and not being able to close in quick enough. So we had those good chances. I think they were the best three chances we have in the entire game, like the two saves there and then the goal. The goal gets by virtue of City of moving the ball quick and finding the one in the middle that it was Celio that gets obviously a good shot. Um, and if I'm not mistaken, it's a little deflected in the way, but it still was a very good shot.
I mean, it's all about those second chance opportunities. That's what that comes down to. There was what was it? It was weeks ago where there was the play where we had to keep the ball alive, and I believe it was I don't remember who it was that ran to the end line to make sure they could keep it alive off of a corner, reset it, get it back to Gerwood Reich, who played it to Vollum, who played the cross in for a goal. That might have been in Vancouver. That's this goal to me. Again, it's making sure that the original ball, the original attempt doesn't come off. You quickly get possession back. You then this is the to me this is what you do when you're trying to open up a defense. Like what they did here as Oscar, you laid it out really nicely, playing the ball from side to side, creating lanes through which you can shoot the ball. That's what you want to do to keep a defense honest, right? You don't want to fall into the trap that we did in the second half where all you can do is play crosses from the wide spaces. You eliminate 1/3 of your attacking area when you fail to use the entire pitch effectively. And in this case, for the Celio goal, it was a banger. It's not going to be goal of the match day because we won it last week, and MLS won't let us win things again because the MLS hates us. I don't care what anybody says; it's a fact. But in all seriousness, no, I think it was a well worked goal and a well taken shot from Celio.
Yeah, and I think that was also his willingness to take the shot versus trying to look for the open options to cross the ball back in. So I think that's the most what we're missing these days is someone taking the initiative that if they see an open space, at least take the chance versus trying to lay it out to the side and then wanted to cross it. I mean, I don't remember the last time we had a golden cross with a header. So I wasn't
Right.
so I was quite surprised to that one. Like they're not shooting the ball. They're not.
No.
And you're on mute, by the way, Oscar. Hey, we'll mute you.
Yeah, we don't shoot the ball enough. Like it's we try to either like be inside the box to actually take a shot, or we just get crosses that go nowhere.
And I was looking. Someone had asked in the chat earlier. I think for I don't remember what statistics on the corner kicks or statistics on crosses. Looks like we've had 118 corner kicks this season. Still trying to search for how many goals we've had because it can't be more than 2 or 3 that I can recall off of a corner itself. I guess let me ask you this, guys: if you're talking about goals from corners, do you count the secondary attempts like Celio's as a goal off of a corner? I don't, but
I wouldn't.
No, because I mean that was an extra play. It was not even like. It was not like Orozco's goal. That it was cross, head back, he gets the second ball and scores. This one was more like clear, then move the ball around, and then found the open men.
Yeah, I mean we've had 118 crosses. I'm looking to see if there's any of these that I can find how many have resulted in a goal, but football or FBref doesn't actually seem to count that. So I'll have to keep digging into that, and if I find it before the end of the show, we'll come back to it.
Yeah, and I think that was when I guess the second half. That's where I was sitting and I was seeing it, and I think that was probably the most frustrating part of it. Is we all made fun of the how many crosses we're going to do it, but I would think that if 1 or 2 or 3 of your crosses go straight to a Dallas defender, that maybe you try to reset and try something different versus trying to force it as much as the team did. And then the question is it a lack of trust of the finishers, or is that more of a Klaus will get it and then let's see what he can do as with Magic?
I don't think it's magic, and the reason I'm actually going to quote our interim head coach because he said at the end of his press conference right after the game is that there's no magic to it. Give me a moment. I want to quote him specifically. Yep, quote, with so many opportunities, you just have to finish. There's no magic. You have to find a way to come away with 3 points. So I don't think it's looking for a magical solution. I just think it's one of two things to me. Either there's some major lack of trust in these players to express themselves creatively in the final third, and all we can do is play hoofball and pray that Klaus or Fall or Kessler get on the end of a header in the box, or We just flat out don't have the creativity, and our former sporting director Lutz Pfannenstiel has screwed us with this roster. It's one of two things, and I'm not going to quite put the entire blame on Lutz, but I will say that when the only two attacking options you have to change a game off the bench are Thomas Ostrak and Brendan McSorley, something is really screwed up with the roster, because you're not going to change a bench with a kid you just called up from Next Pro and a 10 who likes to dribble the ball too much. Especially, by the way, also, that makes no sense as a substitution, because he's not going to get into dribbling spaces. Celio even said it after the game that their instructions weren't to go dribble into men. They don't want to dribble between players. They want to cross the ball, because that's all you can do against a low block. So to me, the roster is an issue, yes, but it is absolutely, excuse my language, it is shitty tactics. There's no other way to put it.
Okay, Jeremy.
I completely agree with you, Jeremy. And they're putting it over here, so there's no identity, there's no style of play. So that our style of play now is to go get wide and get crosses. There's now really a identity of how to play, how to build spaces, how to exploit those spaces behind if there's any. And then if you have a team that sits the block, if how to break that. And one of the things that has been mentioned all this year, even like in some games, I believe our beloved game against Kansas City, Berkey mentioned it. One of the hardest things to defend is the 1-2 situations when they play back-to-back, where the player passing the ball takes the space where the second player plays the one touch, and it's one of the hardest plays to defend. So why we don't do any of that? How many times do we see a 1-2 in coming from City per game? I don't think I see one, and that's so. Frustrated one, but it's very sad that a professional team cannot do a 1-2. A simple move, but very effective, and you don't do not even once in a game. It's very sad.
Oscar, I don't even want 1-2s. Play some through balls, for Christ's sake. Like Falou Fall did one to Hartle. That's the only one that I remember from this game. How many line-breaking runs, creative runs do you see between players to open up space do you see in this game? You don't. That's my frustration.
Well, the thing of the through balls is like nobody is running into space to create those spaces, or there's not enough move on the deep side end. But if you do 1-2s, you can start creating those spaces, because someone has to follow and like track the person that is creating that first touch, that first run. But if you don't have that intensity as your team, as a plane, you have the ball and you don't create that intensity, then Dallas, the only thing that it had to do is make sure that everybody was still in front of them.
Which is
they never had to track anybody.
And I'm trying to figure out, maybe it's the players that we have that made, or is it the coaching staff that maybe have too much say on what they want to do? Because we're all talking, the whole Pep thing, right? Where he has a certain function for players that he wants them to play like, and that's it, right? You have your role, you know what to do, and this is what you're going to follow. Where there's other teams that have a little bit more of the freedom, which I think a lot of MLS teams have, where it's like, you are our superstar, so here's 3 instructions that we want you to follow, but whatever you see on the field, be that creative person to open space and create opportunities. But I think for us, it looks like all those lateral passes that we do so much, and we don't see that much runs from the midfielders or forwards. Maybe if Klaus does it a few times, but there's no like open runs where we'll say Falu goes in, split two players and pass the ball. You will see that split pass, but then once they receive it, they will stop. Look who's open, and the ball will most likely go back. So that forward split pass is worthless because it does not create an opportunity up front because they know that you will come back and reset in the midfield.
Well, okay, so let's ask it this way. Is part of the reason that you see a lot, so let me think of it. The players that you see freely given the freedom to move, there's one that I can think of. Marcel Hartle. He's the only one who ever gets described as having complete freedom to move around. You see Sang Bin running down the flanks when he's had time and since he's been here, but he was away on international duty with South Korea. Outside of those two, who else makes runs? I don't think Leuven's not going to make the run because he's probably instructed to stay back and play as a deeper. He's like you're not even a 6.5, I guess. I don't know what you want to call him. Durkin's going to do what Durkin does, and half the time I don't even know where the hell he's supposed to be. And you know, then you're playing Vollum and Padelford, who you know are going to push forward too. So are they trying to limit the freedom to try to maintain some kind of balance? That's Critch's buzzword, balance or structure within the team defensively, guys. I don't know. I'm really starting to be baffled at the lack of movement off the ball against mid to low block teams.
I feel like if this team doesn't work during the week of what to do and what places occupy, because sometimes it feels like players take space from our own players and don't let those runs get fluid. That's kind of like why the reason the lack of behind into spaces is because the players are just moving into the places that they're not supposed to be and occupying that space. Um, it's completely different to see, for example, at CD2 games where you see all that energy, all those runs that they're fluid and they make sense, like they are connected to what the team's doing, creating the space behind the defenders or creating the space in the opposite side of the field. Some things like that. And Cameron just said it. No chemistry. I was looking for that word. No chemistry. Exactly. There's no connection between the players. It's just like we're just here, like we have never played before. We never played together, and we're just gonna do our best, see how that goes.
And that's the interesting part. You know, when they say chemistry, right? Yes, you know, they do have to have a home, we'll say somewhat of a chemistry, but we're starting to looks like just playing soccer in general, you practice, right? So you already know your teammates' tendencies, right? I don't think at this moment we can go player by player and say what are their tendencies, what space they prefer to take, what space they're not really good at. Because right now it looks like they have their role to follow, and they will follow it to the T until we're behind so much that then it's no, let's throw everything at it to see if we can score. Because it looks like if we see Wallen, for example, you know, make one or two dribble, and his first instinct is to look to the side to expand it and then to cross it, even though he might have someone in the middle open, but he still wants to cross it. That's more of a tactical question than the players being bad. Because you can take the best player in the world, and if you give him a few set of instructions, you're literally taking everything away from what they're capable of. And I hate to say to a point because I'm always positive, but the most of the players that you see is the one that has something to prove or they want to go to Europe. so they will almost have like the engine to do it. I don't think at this moment there's too many people, too many of those players that are afraid of if they don't play well, they don't know what's happening next year.
So so here's the thing, and I said a little while ago that to me, part of it is down to tactics, right? But I'm sitting here thinking about what Critch said after the game. Critch said, "quote We need to be really good in the moments when teams drop off of us, recognizing the space, exploding into it, and moving off the ball really clinically to speed the game up when space is given." He went on to say, "I think a natural behavior for players when you get given space is to slow down, but we need to speed up and try to get more service in the box before it gets crowded." So it sounds like Critch believes that it was a lack of speed in the attack. So when we're pushing into that final third, we're not moving fast enough. We're allowing them to become more compact and really set up that low block. And it seems to be what Critch's issue is. Do you agree with that take, guys? Or do we think the coach is a little out of his depth on it?
You want to take it first, Oscar? I have my take, but well, I guess he's on mute, so I guess it's mine.
Yeah, you go for it. You go for it.
So for the build up for the crosses, from what I've seen or used to be seen before, is typically if you want to have a open cross for one of your tallest players to reach it, you actually want to cut to the middle, get in the box, attract all the defenders with you, and then drop it back behind you and then cross it. So now you have your tallest players doing a 1v1 versus having six players in the box and 3v3 trying to battle it. And I think that's where we're so predictable, right? Because it goes from our center back that has done multiple lateral passes to a midfielder, and then the only instinct is to go to the outside first instead of maybe trying to attract more guys towards the middle and then send it to the outside and then cross it back. Because I was able to know that we were going to cross the ball every time because we knew I saw who was getting the ball first. And even if they were in the box, instead of attempt to take a shot, they were still looking to the outside to cross it back in. You're already bringing everybody in the middle. Why would you then try to cross it when at least try to take a shot and see if maybe your luck will run? Because you never know, right? When you kick the ball in the box, when there's multiple players, you don't know where it's going to ricochet. So I think there's not much initiative, I guess we'll call it, if that's the right word. Or, if we're already losing, maybe the coach said to do one thing, but I see something different on the field. Maybe I will take that opportunity to try it and, ask for forgiveness later.
I I believe that all this season has been tempered by all the we have to play as what St. Louis style of play is, and nothing has left that script since day one of this season until now. We still try to play the same way, and I don't think with the players we have, we can do it. And there's not enough freedom for them to do it. Um, Critch and even Hartel have mentioned that, yeah, Hartel is now more room around and go all over the place, find the ball wherever he wants. But how effective is that? It's not effective. He hasn't given assists since then, since he's been running everywhere on the field. He hasn't scored a goal. Yes, he participates a lot of the game and he gets the ball, moves the ball around, but he's not in the dangerous areas. So he doesn't to that. Um, and then my other take on all this, everybody's saying like you need a refreshment and that everybody out, everybody just have in mind that this team has been checked out of the season for probably 2 to 3 months.
Ooh.
They're professionals, sure, but they know they're playing for nothing. Even if you say they're playing for their contracts, they still know they're not playing for nothing. So you can tell from this game that they were playing, they were putting the effort, but they're not really performing. They're just let's say pretending that you're trying to get something going where they're just like putting the effort and like, hey, I have to be here, I have to run, of they're gonna notice that I'm not running. But at the same time, it's like you're not giving your full qualities. You're not putting your IQ, like your soccer IQ, into the game. Like your decision making is poor, or it's just the easiest decision making for the let's put for the crosses, for example. Your fullbacks, how many times you need to cross the ball to figure it out that they're not working. So if you send 2 or 3 or 4, and there's no work in the same way that you're sending the crosses, why you continue sending the cross the same way? Change it. Send one from the on the ground.
Yep.
Send one mid air. Send one that instead of you send it to the back post, you send it to the top of the box. Change the things, but they're not doing that. They're just like in cruise control mode, like just going with the motions. We got the ball, we're gonna move the ball up, we're gonna cross it. Oh, we didn't score. Okay, we're gonna go back. We trail. It just every single thing is just like, okay, we're just here because we have to. And it's pretty much because, let's be real, they're not playing for anything. There's 2 more home games, and you can tell in the attitudes that I'll get into that later, but you can tell to the attitudes at the end of the games.
Uh-oh.
No, I don't disagree with what you're saying. I think they say the right things after the games, right? We heard from Vollum after the game saying that the fans deserve more. We want to give back to the fans. We've heard it from Berkey in recent weeks. At the latest episode of In Between the Lines that the club has put out on YouTube, is the very last thing Critchley says is praising the fans for the way we stayed after the 3-0 debacle that it was turned into a 3-2 game against. Who was that? Was that Houston? No, it wasn't Houston.
No.
Doesn't matter. We were down 3-0 to whoever it was at this point. Who cares? But no, I mean, the thing to me is, somebody else had said this on social media somewhere, and I think I saw it in the chat too. There aren't enough what you would call like a dog, right? A guy who's going to get out and fight, right? You don't have enough of that grit and that determination in this team, and that's bad. Like, I get they're not playing for the playoffs anymore, but damn, have some pride for yourself. We've got 13, 14, 15 guys who are out of contract at the end of the season. Play for yourself. Play for that pride. If you're not going to play for the badge because you might not be representing it next year, that's a whole other conversation. But play for yourself and earn that that bag, as the kids say, right? Earn that cash, earn that contract, whether it's here or not. There just isn't enough of that mentality, it seems, in this club.
Which is hard for me to hear that part, where it's like you technically always have something to play for, even if the league says that you're pretty much dead in the water. But then that's when your job becomes not you making the playoff, is for you to be the party pooper. Right? You're supposed to mess up everybody else's playoff hopes. When they come to town, it's like, oh snap, they ruined such and such playoff run, we should be careful at this moment, especially this game. It probably send the wrong message to the other leagues that says, if you come to St. Louis, you most likely get your 3 points. But at the same time, I remember very vividly that every single player that you would say had the dog in them, City was criticizing them every time their turn around, and they were saying, "Oh, they're not the best players, they're not the best passers, this and that." But now that the players are gone, now people are mentioning their names again because they were still the workhorse, right? They weren't at the level of the Klaus and the Luvens, but look what they were able to accomplish. Now that we have better quality at this moment in the team, but guess what? It's doing worse than when we had less quality.
because it's individual quality and
Yeah,
not a team quality.
yeah,
There's not
and
there's
maybe
not a
that's
team
why.
effort. And one of the biggest qualities of the first team in 2023 was that it was a team effort. And that was like Bradley's mentality is everybody work as a team together. And it doesn't matter who scores the goal. It's just like how we score the goal, working together.
And a whole bunch of misfit, right? It was guys that were deemed not good enough to play in other MLS teams that had something to prove. There was other players that did not make their European dreams work, and they came, right. You see, like there was that big contrast where they all had something to prove compared to those guys that did not that had the talent, but they were everyone that had the talent were praised. But the smaller guys that now are all gone, I think Stroud was probably one of them that got the most backlash from a lot of City fans of how he played. But I will bet you that many of them will take him back now.
Uh, so I do want to ask a question, and I say this, I ask this with seeing a lot of things on social media over the
Oh boy.
last few days. No, no, I and even in the last few weeks, our friend Matt Rocchio from STL Sports Hub has had a few engagements with folks about the guys of the likes of Marcel Hartle. And the question I want to ask is very simply this, and I saw it even in the chat earlier too. I think it was either Romo or Mel. Um, is Hartle good enough? Is his quality as good as we think it is? Is Leuven as good as we think he is? Do we have we inflated the value or the talent of our guys strictly because they're St. Louis players? Like, are they really as good as we think they are? Because a lot of people are drawing comparisons between Hartle and Anders Dreyer. They're both designated players. Dreyer's having an MVP season. Hartle's got what, 2 goals, 3 goals? I don't know.
But it
I think
it
it's
depends on
hard
who
to
you.
it's hard to judge them. It's hard to judge them with the type of season that City has had. I think like if you had a winning season or like a decent season, like the mentality of both those players would be different. Their stats would be different. Their attitude will be different. Um, I would say Hartel has the quality. He has shown the quality that he can get to. It just obviously he's not on the top of his level right now. Like he's not performing on the top level or giving the best that he could give. Um, Lewin, it's hard when you have to deal with so many things, and I think like his quality is top quality when he's the one who makes the team play, and he's the one that has changed the way City has played and has been more attacking minded and more creative minded. Those games that you say, Jeremy, hey, I want to see an entertaining game. Those happen because Lewin's on the field. So I do think that those two players, for example, yes, they do have high quality, and it's a comparable with Dryer and like Chucky Lozano or any of those big DPs that they're creating a lot of options. Maybe not. Maybe we're not that, but let's also think that I don't know how much they pay for Dryer, or I don't know how much they pay for Chucky Lozano and for Hani Mukhtar or the other forward for Nashville. Like all those players that they're being very effective this year is also like not because of the money, it just but at the same time like it gives you a little hint of like what you could expect. And we're still on the low four fives, like we're not high on the scale of paying a lot for a player. But I do think they have quality. It just they need more around them that helps them build the confidence, helps them build momentum, feel good. Like, do you think they go practice and they all like happy to go to practice right now?
No.
It's not enjoyable. For them, it's not enjoyable. I mean, they're doing what they love to do technically, but at the same time, like you have a shitty season, you're not gonna enjoy going after a bad performance, going to practice, trying to figure out how to change, then try to do it on the game, and then you getting the same results over and over again. So it's definitely hard on their mind too. So it's tough. I know everybody will criticize that they're not performing and they're supposed to perform, but they're also humans, and it's hard to keep that mindset fully focused for a very long season. That is the MLS season, and still try to recreate something or get your level up again. The best thing that can happen for City is to the season to end, so they can all players have a full reset of mindset and figure things that they need to figure out on off season and come whoever is gonna come next year with the best attitude, the best mentality, saying this is not gonna happen again.
I think they all need to go and see whoever Klaus went and saw during the break. I think he said he went back to his old coach and he changed diet and training. It looks like maybe a lot of them needs to just go back to what they know to maybe press reset. But also when they're all talking about like the DPs and others, right? They also have to remember that some of these guys like the jar and all that, he's now up to back to his national team discussions for World Cup qualifiers and World Cup. Um, and some of our DPs are almost like reached the peak of their performance, and then coming back to coming to St. Louis to um, maybe a change of scenery, I will call it. Um, and we did see San Diego at first when during the draft and all that, everybody was laughing at them. That says, who are all of these players that they purchased, who they traded for, and now everybody's on the bandwagon to say, oh, they're the best team, the best new franchise in MLS soccer. Um, and let's not forget, not everyone has the blueprint of San Diego at this moment. Remember, City, no one had City's blueprint. That's why they were able to play so well for the first 5 game of the first season. Now we have more talent, but that doesn't mean all that talent is going to give you the same energy that those smaller players want. That's why superstar teams don't work out because not everybody defends, not everybody plays forwards.
Well, and guys, I think it goes back to some of the other conversations we've had way earlier in the season about playing guys in the right positions. Hartle came here after a breakout season with St. Pauli, where he I think was playing as more of a kind of advanced playmaker. Here we're playing him. Excuse me, we're playing him as like I guess, a hybrid inverted winger who gets freedom to roam. Klaus is a false nine. Betcher has been nothing this season. We didn't have anything on the right until we got Sang Ben. Ostrok's finally doing something, but it's not consistent enough. So are we playing our guys in the positions to make them the most successful? I don't know. It's like a bunch of square pegs in round holes. Like we're putting guys, Oscar, I think you've talked about it all the time. Playing guys out of position, it kills this team. Not that we're doing that now, but I think it does beg the question of asking, are we playing them in the places that are going to make this team the most successful?
Yeah. You know what? Just bring the. I don't know. Maybe if because it was the first season or something where the team was doing extra activities together. Where and I think Aaron's mentioned it. Do the guys hang out together and all that? We know that the German crew most likely hang out together, but do we know anything else that happens? Because the first season we saw when they had the California trips, they were on the beach, right? They were doing, go swimming. They were playing beach soccer. You could see, I think, when the Mobap guys were around, they were going to, fireworks and, you know, it was like team activities. It sounds like almost like, what we were having the discussion of like having cliques in the locker rooms. I I almost see it a little bit more now than I saw it in the first 2 years. Maybe it's just me.
Well, I mean, you have to. I would say that everything comes together as one. If you don't have a good connection with front office, your front office is not being visible or being implementing the right choices, and it goes down from there. Then you start doubting your president. Now everybody start doubting your sporting director and your coach, and then your players, and then your staff, and then your trainers and all that. So like all that this season has been crazy, like crazy for say. Like he's been awful. Comes from the injuries, comes from the recovery times, comes from all those situations. Like everything starts playing in between the team mentality, and it creates what you want to have chemistry and create a harmony between all, and that's when you know that you have a solid group that they're working towards an objective and a goal. This team has many disconnected parts, not just in the field, not just with the players. um i'll I'll dig on it because and everybody
Go, Oscar,
everybody
go.
just keeps saying, but just dig on it. They have zero connection with the fan base. Zero. And I was told by a random person that they do still have connection and they go around and sign shirts, and it's like that's not connected with the fans. That's not what it means connected with the fans. Um, and if you're gonna go the extra mile, it's just what I was saying at the beginning. You end the games after a very bad season playing at home, and the most that you could do is just you have as walk around the field, wave one time, and then walk while they're when you're laughing or talking to your teammate. Uh might as well just don't do it and go straight back to your locker room. That will give you more respect than you have asking something. Uh, I don't know if this team realizes what type of fan base and supporters group they have, because after 90 plus minutes, after almost 18 games at home, that we only won three, and you still get that kind of support, and you still don't show up for us. There's no connection whatsoever. But it might not even. I mean, it's sad that it doesn't come from the players, but it also like, where is the coach? Where is your president? Where is your owner that is not telling you, hey, go respect these people because these people are paying money for you guys to come and play here. Where's that message come from? I've seen many teams that even like the president, CEO, whatever it is, comes down and yells at the players because they're not doing what they're supposed to do and they're not respecting the people that they're in the stands.
Yeah.
If this
Well,
was
and so that's
this,
again, I just
hold on, Jeremy, last thing, sorry. If this was another country, these players would have had people yelling at them very nasty things in the games and also going to a practice and yelling at them for not respecting. If this was another country, this would have been done half of the season ago. And we still are to this point that nobody's saying anything. And if someone says a bad word, then people around, oh no, don't say that. They're human beings. They're like, yes, we get it, but at the same time, come and respect what you're doing and have some accountability of the ways that you guys are doing stuff.
so and that's I think that's part of where I struggle because I don't disagree with anything you've said because you're right. They don't come, and I'm not saying they need to come do what Hazy does after every game and come right into over to the fans every game. But I do want to hear more than lip service from some of these guys, especially they can all go, like I said, Vollum just after the last game mentioned how great it was, how amazing the fans were to still be cheering when they were down 3-0 at home, right? Then act like you're thankful for it. Don't walk around laughing and that. Come say something. Be part of it. I mean, hell, the New York Red Bull have had. I don't even know where they are on the table right now. I haven't looked. But Emil Forsberg had to go talk to their supporters, and he actually went and had a conversation with them and said, "Stay with us, please. We need you." Where is that? I know that we're not playing for anything, but where is that from our guys? Why can't we have that? I'm not crazy for thinking that, like, and I know somebody said on Twitter a few weeks ago that, well, we're entitled, we're feeling entitled, we're just year 3 of a franchise, why are we feeling so entitled that our players need to owe us anything? I disagree with that too. Like, we're there week in, week out, supporting them to the final whistle. I don't see that that's a problem to want to feel something from your guy, from your club, right?
Yeah.
Our fan base is too vanilla and too mellow. I'll
I, I
it,
think you can. Think you can be that mellow, but I think one thing I probably will say it's also still cultural because you see, you just mentioned Orozco at the end of games. Go
Mm-hmm.
with supporter section. It just almost depends on where you've started your soccer career and maybe what you've grown up around. Because I don't know if I will say in yes German league. I don't recall, that interaction just yet. I can say I saw it in Latin American. I can say I saw it in Italy. I can definitely say I saw it in France, where there's the ultras. But when we say ultras, mean it's ultra. But also, they know that there's a supporter group and there's like presidents and stuff, right? So those people have like they know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for me it just come back to the whole cultural thing where maybe some players are maybe a little bit more settled compared to others. You see when they warm up, right? They typically start wondering to see where their family members are, and you see the smiling, waving, and all that. I don't know. I think it's almost depends on the type of players they are. and the leadership group that you have on there. Um, and what the OG leader is what Berkey,
Hmm.
but then that's about it. I know Josh Yarrow is like it's in that leadership thing inside the group of the city itself, not more as vocal outside. I know people. This is um, the peekaboo player that people mentioned, but still part of that leadership group. But there's no one else that's as vocal. Even though Sergio was very vocal on that presser, you could you could see the emotion when he was talking of frustration. But I don't see anyone that you would say will be courageous enough to face the fans outside of the confine of media. But
Well,
they are
the
watching.
thing is like they're not gonna have to do it anyways because um we don't have that style of fans. Like I'll tell you with no hesitation, we are not comparable to something like it would not happen the way that it happened with LA Galaxy when they had those issues and the fan base went to their practice and talked to the players and all that. We don't have that, and we also it's not gonna have what you just mentioned, like that Fosberg had to go and talk to the supporters. We don't have that, and it's not because not we don't have like the people per se. It's more because and I laugh because it's more because the team itself has been in charge of controlling so much of the supporters and they want everything so under control and on the line that there's no room for any of that. And if you get to do if you even try to do any like that, you will probably get very in a big trouble because the club doesn't want that. They have been showing it that they don't want anybody getting out of their ways that they see that is appropriate or not.
Hmm.
You're probably closer to it, but um, do you think maybe it's just the whole American sport thing that
No, I think it's
no?
I think it's part of this being a new franchise and not knowing what they were supposed to expect about out of a supporter group and wanting to have full control of it.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the reason for the disconnect is. Without getting, I hate to go there, but I mean, you don't have a mess, and I'm gonna call it a mess because I don't know any other way to describe it. Like you did over the weekend, where a banner that, from what I gather, the so just sidebar for a second on this. So Florida Noise was picking up the Kick Childhood Cancer um, cause and awareness for this season because MLS as a whole wasn't doing the kits and the pre-match tops and all of that, right? So they put together a banner. From what I've heard from some of the folks in Florida Noise, some of the higher ups, I like Austin and some others, they reached out to the club weeks in advance, didn't hear anything about it, approving it until the day before or something like that, until the deadline. It didn't really get approved, so they still tried to take it in and were told they could bring it in if they covered up anything that made mention of the cause. So it couldn't mention cancer, it couldn't mention any of that kind of stuff. So they did, and they still brought it in. But it floors me that something like that happens between the club and your one of your established club supported support clubs, club recognized, not supported, club recognized supporter groups. you I could understand if it was something extremely political in nature. I could understand any of those things that are against fan laws. But for something like that to happen will only further the divide that seems to be growing between the club. This is not just the players, but the club and its diehard supporters, because to me, it is frankly asinine. Whether they want to say it has to pertain to the event or not, it is asinine that that banner was not allowed in its original state and had to be altered to get through the gates. But that is an example to me of something that is going to kill this club in terms of support from some of its most diehard folks.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a miscommunication that it was obvious delivered late. Um, we don't know. Nobody knows really what is really the reason why it was not allowed to have the full message. Like they're saying on the chat, like Alejo is saying on the chat, there's a speculations of why would have been some of the rumors of like trademark issues, that there's some companies, fundraisers or something that they have trademarked some stuff, or that even the other one that I heard was that I think the MLS itself, their their campaign against childhood cancers are, it was very similar, like the slogan was very similar to what it was on the banner. Again, this is just speculating and what I have heard. I'm not confirming any of denying anything whatsoever. But yes, it was poor management from the team, because all this has been submitted long time ago. Like they're those banners are not made one day to another day. They take at least 3 to 5 days to be made, and the design needs to be approved by the team. So the team needs to see it beforehand and all those things. So um, it just goes back to the same thing. The club is and struggles, and not only on the field, they struggle in a lot of different things and areas. Um, and even there, like between communication and managing with the supporter groups, like I think there's
Yeah.
a lot of room to grow in that end, in that perspective, with the supporter groups. I'm not saying we don't do anything wrong or we don't do anything bad, but we there's also things that we wish we could do, and in some points that they're not um allowed to, I guess. And hey, just by the way, I'm talking about myself, not putting any, I'm not naming or I'm not speaking for any group in particular. I'm talking about myself and what my views are. Just clarifying if anybody wants to um,
Good,
have
Oscar.
Yeah.
any types of anything. This is just me as a person, me as a Oscar being here. Um, don't 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 blame any super groups or anything like that for what I'm saying. This is just me.
Yeah, and just to be clear, I'm not speaking on behalf of any of them either. I have friends across most of the supporter groups, if not all of them at this point. So, it rubs me the wrong way, because I hear and know and see the time and the effort that you guys all put forth into doing things, and especially when it's charitable causes like this, it really burns my butt to hear of things like that. And I know there's approval processes and the politics and all those, the red tape you have to go through to get approval. It's just something as simple as that should, when it's the right cause. And I don't want to hear about a concern about a trademark when I think it was SKC did Kick Childhood Cancer last night and gave away a stuffed bear because of it. Somebody was blasting it all over X yesterday. So I don't know. It just really it hits me the wrong way, and I think it was, I don't remember the Mel. You're right. You're not going to see everybody empty. Like, people are still going to show up, right? It's still going to be the cheapest seat in the house for the next 5 or 6 games, or what? Not even 5. It's what, 2 more home games? I think we have 3 on the road and 2 at home.
That's
So you have
sad.
2 more. So you got 2 more home games. So, and it's going to be what it is, right? It's going to be quieter. It's a shame, but I think that's what you expect. Sadly, right now.
Yeah, I'm probably the one that will get in trouble on that part. I'm still on the fence with the not showing up for your sport team again. Um, because I think that almost puts us into the soccer fan and the consumer of
Mm-hmm.
entertainment sports. That if you don't see what you want, is you have other option for to keep you entertained. Um, I myself, I don't have any other entertainment. Well, I have other stuff to watch, but when it comes to soccer, is that I will still show up. If I pick up a team, I will be there. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Um, I've had teams that I followed for decades without winning anything, but maybe I get myself in trouble on that one. But I'll still show up. But I do understand people that will be reluctant to it. I did hear a lot of people saying, they're spending a lot of money. It's like, fortunately, sports fandom is expensive, and sometimes the return on your investment it does not happen every year.
It's so
Yeah, sometimes you're gonna
yeah.
be in the red for a very long time be- before your happiness. So I understand both side of it, um, but also at the same time, uh, welcome to soccer fandom, and that
Yep.
it is one painful life
Yep.
if you let it
Um,
get to
I
you as much.
I would say I all I want in return is I want to see heart. I want to
Yeah.
see uh like that they have blood in their eyes because they're passionate about it. They're giving everything in the field. They are showing that they're pissed off when they lose, that they're care about the team, the crest. That's what I want to see. I For me, if you don't come around and you don't say anything to us, but you go straight in the locker room mad because you lost or tie a game that you should have won, I'm okay with that. I said it last week when Berkey didn't come around because he was extremely upset. I'm okay with it. But don't come half-ass do things. Don't come around and then I see you laughing with your teammate
mhm.
about nothing that should be laughing in public. Because even if you win the next game 5-0, I don't think you should be laughing your out about because I mean there's nothing to really celebrate. I mean, yeah, you win a game, okay, you win a game, but don't act like that everything has been solved now. Just show hard. That's all I care. Just show hard. Like the way I play the game, I always give. I was maybe not the most talented player. Uh, that I obviously I didn't make it to professional, but I always when I play, I left every single
Mhm.
ounce of sweat that I had in my body, and I left with passion, and I didn't regret not giving my full potential. And that's what I want. That's what I want to see from the players I'm following.
Yeah, that's why I say sometime play the kids or the local kids because that sometime will get you that spark that we're all talking about. Even though it might not be the prettiest result, even though Max
Mhm.
Hurley, he tried to attempt bicycle like or side volley. If he would have put those a little bit more on each of the corners, he probably would have nailed those, and he probably would have been the folks hero on it. So
Mhm.
I think sometimes that you need that mixture of you know experienced talent with raw talent and young talent. And I think you've heard me say multiple times. my soccer team, I like to almost see the United Nation on there
Hmm.
because it brings you a different aspect of how you can see the play, feel the play, dribble. That's why everybody loves to see Celio and all that because he brings something totally different than 90% of the team.
Yeah, no, and
Or
that
99%.
makes sense. Um, so I was just looking at something to kind of bring it back to the game against Dallas for just a second.
Oh boy.
Um, so no. So this is the 13th game that City has been has the that at the half it was tied. It was it was a 1-1 score at the half. This season, when drawing at the half, City is yet to win a game. We are 1-6-7 in those 13 games, those 6 points all being from draws, meaning we have dropped 33 points when we have been drawing at the half. What do you attribute that to? Is that the team not having enough different difference makers on the bench? Is it poor halftime adjustments? Is it something else that I'm not thinking of? Like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, what's the root? Because that's a big problem in my mind. It is the most points dropped from such a position in all of MLS, by the way.
For me, finishing a game, it's all experience, 100% experience, because that's how some players get paid the big bucks because they says, "Hey, you've been in high level finals, you've been in playoffs, you've been in relegation experience. That will teach you how to kill a game or settle a game, or having that experience to know when to go crazy and not to. Because if you don't match the energy from the other team that's trying to get back, then you match them with fire and then most likely score on you. That's why Real Madrid goes almost wins the Champions League all the time because they know how to play for that. Sorry if I had to be Real Madrid, but yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
no, I
sorry that
mean,
you did that too.
there,
Gross.
there, there's that. I mean, yeah, you call it experience, but it's like that. Um, the wolf tooth, or like something like it. They just call it like, you're that old person that knows their tricks and knows their little things to get things done. I mean, it goes the same in soccer. Like, you have to have those players that know how to carry the team in the last minutes or when the difficult times come in. And now that we're talking about this, uh, I want to bring
Uh,
the goal from Dallas because
oh boy.
that's why this it's what it lacks on this team. And I think that goal was way too naive from all the players involved in that play.
Oh yeah.
So it starts with, and I know there's social media that were like digging on one player. Yes, it does starts with this player. Falufo lets the ball roll out on the throw in. There's nothing wrong with it. But then for some reason he decides to take the throw. Whatsoever, a center back should not be taking a throw in, especially you're winning. So you should not be taking the throw, first of all. Second of all, you don't play it quick. There's no reason to play that throw in quick. Let your fullback come in position, let him take it, especially knowing that Paddle 4 can send the throw in all the way to the other half if he wants to. Third involves the player that I would say has more responsibility. It's right there on that touch. Chris Durkin, um, gets a simple pass, a horrible touch, and just goes away from him um, when he shouldn't.
Wait, did
And
Padelford take that
then
throw?
Nope.
no, so
Follow took the
Falu takes it
Oh,
quick for some reason, gives it to Lewin. What we're doing there is just like it's just inviting pressure. Falu takes the throw in and he takes it backwards. So it just invites pressure. So there's just no reason why that should have done. That should have done the way that it was done. Um, then the pass from Lewin trying to build out of pressure. Lewin, if if you think about it, Lewin just boost double up,
yeah.
50 yards up, just 50 yards up. There's four people. It's a 4v4 in that corner.
Yeah, yeah,
Why
and
do you want to play a 4v4 there?
yeah, and you see that's a typical Rondo, right? You see how Fallo is over there screaming for the ball. That would have come if he would have settled the ball properly, like he usually does. The ball would have gone back to him here, and the Padofo would have taken it because he probably would have found himself here and then clear it. But due to that bad touch here, instead of being a pass, it was a pass to the wrong player. See, look at that.
And
He lost his duel right there. And
I
then
th-
Musa went
and
behind
one of the
flat.
things is like I don't understand Lewin making that pass to your six backwards. Like your six Durkin is facing back. Like it has no outlet. He has
And
no way to turn. He has no way to. The only thing that he could do is take a good touch and maybe play a sideways pass. But that was not a good decision. Playing the ball through pressure. And then this exact moment, obviously, there was a lot of people blaming on Falu that he was keeping the player on site. What Mo just said. Falu was expanding the field, giving an option as a pass option after that pass. So he did not have time to reach to the line and get in position to get him an offside. The other one that he should have done is Lewin should have kept track of Musa when we lose the ball.
So, all right. So, hold on. I want to pause and I want to back up and ask a question. So, all right. So, at this point here, Falu has to stay and provide as an option to Leuven, right? So, you're saying in between the time that Leuven plays it forward to Durkin, Falu doesn't have a chance to make a little bit of a forward run, because if he makes a forward run, there is a chance he could get Musa in an offside position, right? Or am I thinking wrongly about this moment?
Well, so
uh,
you're not thinking that the things like Falu's not thinking we're gonna lose the ball there,
Sure.
right? Because he makes the throw, he stays wide as an option to receive the ball back. The ball is played forward. He still has to be an option to release that pressure and clear.
Mhm.
Right there, it has been less than a second. Fallow realizes, okay, now I have to go in, but he's not going to step in because he just has to go towards the goal.
Okay.
Lewin, if you see Lewin, his reaction should have been keep in mind where that player is, Musa. But what he does is tries to cut the middle to the middle pass that it's a dangerous pass, but at the same time it's a pass that is covered
Mhm.
you see how
without
he gets there?
realizing that Falu was out of position because he was the one made the throw in.
But it's these kinds of self-inflicted issues that are costing us points. Like, this is like wrong. Is it wrong in saying that like this is self-inflicted, right? Like we should be better than
Yes,
this.
all three players involved in that play, starting with Falu, that he should not start this to Durkin making a bad touch, but also Lewin making a poor decision of giving that ball under pressure
Mhm.
and then not keeping track the other player that he was running behind him.
Okay.
Yeah, too much, a little bit too much ball watching and expecting something, but also it also shows you is like why is it not Durkin? That's where Leuven is, and where Leuven is supposed to be a Durkin.
Yeah.
I
What?
mean, it was a situational play because it was the way that they were just retrieving from that ball. Because Fallu is not even supposed to be out there
No.
on the left side.
No,
Like he
Padiful was
shouldn't be
supposed
right
to
on there.
do the throwing.
Yeah, Mo, if you play
But
this forward again, can we see the goal? I want to see the angle at which this is scored. I hadn't
Oh,
looked at
that's
it
a
to replay.
crazy good.
Sorry to cut you off, Oscar.
no, you're good.
I was just curious if we could play that forward a little bit to see where the goal came from, or is
Oh,
it's
so you
control.
want it all the way up?
Yeah. I just want to see the goal, the angle, if it'll show. Yeah, here we go. Oh man, yeah. See, is it a wrong question to ask if Berkey could have done anything better there? I mean, it's beat near
It's
post. He's on the post.
I think it's twofold. One is Peter Musa. He's experienced striker. He he picked the spot and he was like, either your hand is coming with the ball in the net, or it's just the ball going in. But also, I think just the position of Berkey, he was also trying to cover any players that was behind him, right? Because he's not sure who is there. He's like in perfect position, right? Make himself big enough, and Musa is like just at the very top. He's like, this
Yeah.
is not happening.
In my opinion, that was a hell of a strike. It glazed the post because he does glaze the post. Um, very strong and high. Even though like Berkey was going lower on his move already, like he was on a lower position, going to a lower position. No, that even though it is the goalie's post, I don't think he has any blame. Like that was just perfect plays, good power,
Yeah, he just knew what he had to do.
Yeah.
and you see like those shots sometimes. Even like Musa probably thinks out of 10 shots there, he will probably miss 9.
Right. Well,
Yeah.
well, and for me, it's I think what Moose, and I hate to say it because you don't think about it, right? But it's he puts that on goal with a lot of power. What are the chances that Berkey can't? He's not going to catch that. He's going to have to parry it. And with St. Louis coming back, what that like? Is that what he's playing there? You're playing the angle and it getting parried back into a dangerous position for another opportunity, maybe,
I,
or no?
that will be your assumption first, but
Mhm.
a striker is a striker, so he will get himself selfish,
Yeah.
selfishly. But I think if he was another player, maybe a midfielder or a winger, he most likely will try to put it in the middle for an easy tap in. I think it was just Peter Musa just knowing what he has to do and take your hand if you have to score a goal. Um, I think it was just the perfect disaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I again, and I know Melo is saying like, no, it's Berkey supposed to do better, but no, I think he has a good positioning. The only thing, yes, he was in the down motion, but it's just when he takes the shot. So it's more like he was still big. Um, it's just a good shot. If I don't recall wrong, Manuel Neuer got scored a goal like that no long ago, either like a week ago or 2 weeks ago. Bayern Munich goal against, but obviously against them. Um, it was the same. It was Manuel, and even Manuel was like this, tried to make himself up, and he still went through it
Yeah.
because it's just so close and so hard. It just They just put themselves like, hey, I'm gonna do this and see if it touches me because I don't see it.
Yeah, and take your hand with you
Right.
in the net. Yeah.
Or
Right.
the face or
Yes.
whatever. Like it just um
So I
yeah.
guess
I think like obviously Berkey was not and in my opinion, Berkey was not a fault whatsoever.
no.
Um he has not been performing out of his mind like we were used to in first year and second year. But again, you have two losing seasons in a row, having so many issues with your defenders, so many issues with your the performance of the team. It's hard for a goalie to stay on top of their level for that long.
Yeah, and also I think one thing that people keep forgetting is that that defense had so many changes, and like the like we mentioned, the chemistry between those players is still a work in progress, because you can see a lot of the passes that are kind of still awkward a bit. Um, I think it looks like there's still that the sinkage of the defense that is not there yet. Because you could have seen just the play that we've shown. If there's players that have played Rondo together as much or as possible, maybe that wouldn't have happened to that point. Let's not forget Durkin's been out for quite a long time. Fowler is just coming in. Then Leuven is also, in and out, except for those past few games. And then Potterful is just showed up 2 or 3 weeks ago. So just looking at those four players just in that small circle, you got a brand new guy. You got one that's been struggling during the season. There's the other one that just came back from injuries, and there's a brand new guy that still trying to figure out the rest of the team. It looks like it was like the perfect recipe for disaster on that play. And of course, he had to, with our luck, he had to end up as a goal against us. We have no luck.
I don't know.
Just say
I,
yes.
I no, because I don't agree with you. I'm not.
What?
I'm sorry. I don't agree with this. With the excuses of it's a new guy. It's a guy that's back from injury. It's this, that, or the other. It's just. It's infuriatingly not good enough, and I'm tired of the damn excuses. These
Hey,
guys need to be better.
it's an
I'm
awful
just gonna say it.
touch. It's an
I,
awful
I'm.
it's an awful touch.
But
I'm
Jeremy,
sorry.
it does play
Go ahead.
against when you don't have a continuous performance with the same back four, for example. Like I have mentioned this
Yeah.
multiple times. When you don't have a solid defense, most likely is because your pieces are not working together as it's supposed to be and have a good chemistry and let's say like work as a Swiss
Yeah.
clock that every
I,
piece is doing what it's supposed to do. But if you don't let them do that because you change your formation every game, you change your lineup, you have a new guy every game, or you move your left back to the right back and then you center back to the left back, then you are not creating that solid defense that you want because you just having them to play in so many different
yeah.
situations because every situation is different. Jeremy, if you play with me every day, I know how you play, you know how I play. But if you come to tomorrow and you say you're gonna have Mo instead of me and I'm in the opposite side, then you don't
Mhm.
know how Mo play and now you have to adjust to that. And
Yeah.
then the next day comes let's say Melo and then now you have Melo that you have no idea what Melo does and you don't understand him because he speaks a different language, then now
Mhm.
you have
No, and I,
3 4 different situations when you're not creating that
I
solid defense.
and I do get that, and so that's right. But I guess what I'm oversimplifying this and thinking, okay, granted, I know it's like a fraction of a second decision, but if Edu receives this ball and he looks and says, okay, well, I can't get it to Padelford. Durkin's a 50-50 shot. We're deep on our end. I guess my thought is Leuven, who was one of the first designated players this club signed, is supposed to be part of the spine of this team and our backbone and a leader and have all of this awareness. He's the guy that pulls the strings. Just boot the damn ball. I don't care if you give them a throw in midfield or even a 50-50 and we lose it at midfield. At least by that point, hopefully we've reset and have our shape a little bit better in our own end. I guess to me, that's why I'm less forgiving with the and saying I don't want excuses, just because it doesn't take. To me again, and I'm probably oversimplifying it. I just think I expect more.
So I understand that part, and I won't say it's an excuse. I would just say that just speaking for experience, like Oscar said, right?
Yeah.
If like playing with Oscar, so knowing that his preferred way to receive the ball is on his right foot, right by the tip of his toes, right? So that means I will calibrate my pass to make sure that it lands right there. I'm wondering if that one pass that you saw from receiving to Durkin, how often does he get receive a ball with his back to a defender? And does he has those tendencies to do during practice?
Hmm.
Because that position right there, that's usually a Leuven position where his back is always to
Mm-hmm.
the opponent box goal where he receives it and then he has enough time to turn around and now have an open play. That's why I was saying that if maybe Leuven was receiving the ball instead of Durkin, that
Mm-hmm.
maybe would have been a different situation than the other way around. So not to make it an excuse of just it's those tendencies, those middle seconds is X player loves to put weight on this position of his foot. That's why you see those passes that split players, right? And
Mm-hmm.
or the curve balls that people are like, oh, what a beautiful pass. They know that that receiving player will always 99% of the time will make that run. So if I
Mm-hmm.
pass that ball to that space, he will get it. But if you never play or you have not had those repetition with that player, you will never make that pass because you don't know what's going to happen. So that's why I was just saying it's not the same group of the defenders that you've had
Mm-hmm.
since preseason. If those were our core defense, right? And they would have made that mistake and they've played preseason in some of the games together, and then
Mm-hmm.
on week 13 they make that mistake, I would have been right there with you and said that's 110% unacceptable. But
Mm-hmm.
now I just had that 1% that I kind of understand how it could happen.
And I don't see it as an excuse of like not performing, because they need to perform anyways. Like,
Yeah.
they're professionals. They do train together. They should know each other even if they don't play the full games. So I don't see it as an excuse, Jeremy, of not
Okay.
performing in general. It's more like the miscommunications and just like making making the job harder for your players. And that's what every single coach in this organization has done for the past 3 years. And is rotating so much your backline that you don't create that solid communication, that solid environment between them, to the point that you have security on the back and you know what to expect. And people might not like it, but the best time that we saw the back four or the back five or the back three were the first 5 games of this season. What was happening on those first 5 games of the season?
The
They were
same
the
players.
same pieces in the same spots. Mostly. There were some tweaks if they needed to be tweaks, but it was not huge changes. And what happened in those games? We didn't get score in 5 games. That the
And I
team
Mm-hmm.
was awful, was god awful in the front. that's another story. But that back line was solid.
So now we need a season where they both show up at the same time and not one on one half and one on the other.
Right.
Yeah.
If you the thing is like quality or not, skill or not, if you use the full potential of your players, and we have said it, Jeremy, you have mentioned it today too. If you use them on the full potential at their correct spot, you can be competitive. You can perform well. We were doing good for like our defense was solid. And who were the defenders on those 5 games? If I recall, there was Jaro, Kessler, Hubert, and I think
Baumgartel.
Tots
Yep.
and Horn.
Yeah.
Not Timo, but I think it
No.
was Kessler was the main. Uh, Jaro and Hubert were the sweepers per se, and uh, Tots and Horn on the sides. It was not like we were playing with our full starts of center backs per se, right?
We were playing with
The
our
ones
fourth, and fifth string.
correct,
Yeah.
the ones that
That's
they
what most people
criticize
say.
all the time when the things start going wrong, but nobody realizes that when the things were going well, then there was something happening.
We just need them
Well,
both at the same time.
You need to be explosive in the front so you don't get that much pressure in the back. It's simple, but
Go ahead, Jeremy.
no, I mean that's the goal, getting them
Yeah.
together, Mo.
Yeah.
I do you have if you have the plan and the magic crystal ball that will let that happen, someone get Carolyn and Diego on the phone, please.
First,
bring
keep them.
Latinos.
That was way too obvious. But also keep them healthy for like from the beginning, so you can kind of see what you currently have. Because we were stuck so much time where what can happen or what could have happened if they were healthier. There's always that question that what would have happened, but
Mhm.
it's soccer, it's football, unfortunately. Um, yeah, who would have thought?
So go ahead. No, what were you saying, Mo?
Oh no, I said who would have thought that one half decent season for the first one, and then it would have just crashed and burned where it was not like your starting 11 that were bad,
Hmm.
right? Because if we had our starting 11 and then it's year after year the same thing, then I would have just said rebuild altogether and send everybody home and start from scratch. But it was always that what could have happened if we didn't sell this person or kept that person or get injured or etc.
Yeah, I mean all the what ifs.
Yes.
So at this point, gentlemen, we are now to the point of the year where David Critchley, as the interim manager, has equaled the same amount of points as Olaf Melberg. They both had 11 points earned as manager. Melberg had one more game than Critch has. Critch has a few more before the end of the season, so he'll end up having more opportunities. But his points per game are higher. His goals for are about the same deficit, so they both were negative. They were both outscored, but I mean, we'll see XG and shots and stuff heavily skewed because of this game in Critchley's favor. My point is, in saying all of this, do we think Critchley has done enough now to earn the job or lose the job for next season? Or too soon to tell?
I think for me,
I
his
think
problem is the new sporting director. If Lutz was there, I'm still there, his odds would have still be half decent. But if you bring a sporting director, they most likely have their list, tentative list of one players, coaches that they have in mind, or a wish list of the type of manager they have. So I think for me that's the biggest thing is Lutz is not there. So it put him a lot further back than I'm sure he would have wished.
Okay.
Unless the new sporting director is Hackworth.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah. I
Don't you
don't think
think?
I
I
don't.
mean, I mean, I would say for me that that job was never for him to take. Never has been, and it shouldn't be. I I I don't know. I don't really care of if you did good or bad. If you improve I would say 90% of the times where a interim coach comes in and takes the job, fails the following season, ends up leaving, ends up going something bad. Um, so I don't foresee why we would pursue something like that where you put a coach just to take care of part of the season and then give it an option where they normally fail. They normally are they don't make a big change because you're just working with pretty much the same ideals.
mhm.
And at this point we are looking into new air, new environment, new ideas, new everything basically. Even if you have a core of players, it still is gonna be need to be new, need to be something that is gonna change the way that the locker room is managed, change the way that uh, the team building exercises work. Like we were mentioning, like I don't think they do those enough, and I think they should be doing a lot more. So like those little I know like a lot of teams do those walks when they go on away games and they do the walks
Mhm.
together and all that. Like, but find something more creative to do than just walking. Um, I follow, for example, I follow a women's uh team in the NWSL because one of the player I manage, and when they are on away, they always have like different activities of games. Like there's sometimes they play like a football like the American foot with an American football ball, and they create like a challenge between teams and do stuff. And I think we used to see that at the beginning of the club, and now we just don't see that. They do it, they don't do it. We don't know because might be just social media is not showing us. But
But
if
they
they
play
were
golf
showing
at
it
Kiddie Park.
before, if they were showing it before, why they're not showing it now? I think there's something that it's like a fair line in saying they might not be doing all those kind of things. So, in my opinion, yes, just always should be bring something new, bring a new coach. I mean, Critchley has definitely improved the entertainment of City comparing to what Olaf was. Um, but at the same time, I mean, we got to a point where like, okay, well, the entertainment is fun, but at the same time, we're still losing or still tying games. Like, it's entertaining until the point that we get to the last goal of the match, and it's the one that makes us lose. So,
Hey, they keep you entertained, right? No.
but how long that will last? Like, how long that will keep people happy? I
Well, they're not happy, so I think the keeping people happy is long gone.
well, like keeping happy that they're that is entertaining. and to that point. I know people are not happy, but like Jeremy used to say, like, oh, at least I want to see an entertainment game where people are attacking and all that. But to till until what point you're gonna say, okay, that's good enough for me to, well, now I want to go back to, like, hey, maybe a boring game, but we win every game 1-0.
Hmm.
Yeah, I stay away from the entertaining part of it because shoot, I watched Chelsea parking the bus with Mourinho. That was not the most flamboyant soccer, but ended up with lots of trophies. I would say it's just I think you just have to bring a different energy to the team. I think maybe they were hoping maybe Betcher could have added some of that because he had a little bit of that St. Louis slew connection. But I may sound like a broken record, but at this point, Joyner is nice to see, but add a few more. At this point, you need that storyline, you know, that when Joyner scored, I think at one moment there was a lot less angry people because they were talking about his goal.
Hmm.
And the first year, it was Miggy, right? The second year, I don't remember if there was any storyline like that.
No, look, Mackay is a great
It's a
Mackay, and
great
even
story.
McSorley to a less. What? What's
That's
that?
why I said story.
I say it's a great story. It's
Yeah,
it's something that
yeah.
you can be happy to follow, be happy to be there for it, for the kid itself. But
I mean, it's neat. I mean, Betcher. I think the problem with Betcher. I mean, I like Simon. I like his work ethic. He brings athleticism, right? But like, he's what looking at like the biggest glaring stat for him is his 2 goals. So his expected goals, the number of goals he has, should be basically 8. It's 7.9. So he is essentially underperforming the number of goals he should have based on the quality of opportunities and shots by 6. uh Hypothetically, how many more points does 6 goals get you? I mean, he's by far and away the worst in terms of that goals minus expected goals metric. The only players that are even or positive that are outfield position players, not including our newest transfers who, let's say, have played over 500 minutes for us. Klaus is dead even. Joyner is overperforming by half a goal. Yaro's overperforming by half a goal. Orozco by almost zero point 0.7. Celio now overperforming by zero point 0.8. The biggest overperformer is Edu Leuven with 1.7. And, some of those have been, I think one of those at least was a free kick goal. So, and that does not include penalties. So, it's crazy to think about the guys that are over and underperforming on this team. I mean, and for those who said Hartle has been bad, I mean, he should maybe have one more goal based on statistics. Toyshirt the same way, about one more goal, but cumulatively, one or two more goals here or there probably don't get you many more points. Betcher is the biggest one. 6 more goals. Who knows what that would have gotten you? A couple more wins, maybe.
Yeah, I think that
still,
was the biggest disappointment. Is he's a forward. He did not put the ball in the net enough. Can show me as much stats of what he's
yeah,
expected to score.
he
He's
just put it
he's a
straight to
striker.
their goalie's keeper,
Yeah,
goalie's legs.
he should be competed with Klaus on how many goals he scores. Yes, he had a nice assist to Leuven, but he's another striker. He should be complementing
Mm-hmm.
Klaus with goals.
I mean, and that's the
Okay,
craziest thing. He's like third in the team in shots on target per 90. He's got a higher rate of shots on target per 90 than Klaus, but a
But
fraction of the
Klaus put it in the
goals.
net.
Yeah.
so but these also are like the expected goals and all that. Those stats are also the way that the game develops, right? Like how, like for example, like how many chances or how many opportunities like Hartel had to score a goal or give an assist. I'm correct on that, Jeremy?
Yeah. What do
Okay.
you mean?
So, well, because you're saying like, well, Hartel is not as bad on his expected
Oh,
goals,
oh yeah.
but
So yeah,
this is not what you were expecting from a DP at the beginning of the season. This is what it was expected from the way that the games have been played and the options that he had.
sure.
Correct?
Yeah, that's fair.
So, yes, he's even on that because the chances he had, he most of the times he puts them on frame and he has score. But if you tell me, has he overperformed or performed as I was expecting at the beginning of the season? I'll tell you he has underperformed on that area on scoring goals and assists because it's expecting from a DP that last year scored 5 goals, 6 goals, 7 assists, something like that in half of the games, then you were expecting more from him. Now the stats tell you that the way that the games develop, you are there. Like you're just doing okay.
Hmm.
All right, we gotta stop because
Oh boy.
we have a superstar legend on the. He's watching. You can have it, my friend. You, Oscar, you can let Edgar know he can have that wooden spoon as long
Oh
as
yeah,
he
I don't
wants.
I don't want it. I don't
Yes.
want it.
No, no. So real quick, shout out Edgar, our News Across the Galaxy buddies. I do have our nice wooden spoon folks in the house. So I do have the Galaxy scarf repping. Again, much love and thanks to you guys, the Galaxians, and all the folks out on the West Coast for that care package. Yeah, so our wooden spoon collective folks and friends out there.
I would
Thanks for everything.
I would tell Edgar that he can still collect more trophies. He collected the MLS Cup last year. He can collect one this year with the wooden spoon.
Hey, it's nice to return the favor. I was watching their show yesterday because it was very entertaining. So they they're the blueprint of what you want to do on podcasting and make it fun. So, and
No, they're great.
I think Edgar is probably, I would say, the most knowledgeable guy. That if you have questions, he's it.
No, so Edgar's great. Their program's entertaining. They've got some really good stuff out there that they're
Good takes,
doing.
yes.
Yeah, they're a lot of fun to listen to. I know Edgar for a lot of folks who may know him from in St. Louis is probably from his appearances over on Flyover over the years as well. So he's kind of regular there. So Edgar, but all around Edgar's a good dude. To give him
Yes.
a follow on his socials. His username's the same, Edgar Nags on X. I think it's similar on Blue Sky. I don't know how active he is on Blue Sky, but I know he's really active on X. So give the man a follow, and you know what? Tune into News Across the Galaxy at some point because yeah, they're fun to listen to. They're one of the first non St. Louis pods that I started listening to. So
Yep. And
Um,
one of the first few people that said hi to me when I started this podcast thing. So
yeah.
appreciate him.
Um,
Yes.
So I was looking. So to your point, Oscar, on
Uh-oh.
Hartle. So Hartle is second in the team on shots, second in the team on shots on target. He's middle of the pack in terms of like shots on target per 90, about half of the rate of what Betcher is. But Marcel Hartle has played way more minutes and has 3 more goals. So he's at least his shots might not be as accurate, but he's still finishing at a better rate.
Makes sense.
I mean, again, I would expect him to score 5 more goals and have 6 more assists this season.
Yeah, well, I mean, so I
like
can tell
something
you,
like that, but
well, no, well, so here's the thing: based on his shot quality, he scored 5. His expected non-penalty goals are 5.8, so he's not far off from that. And expected assists, again, just kind of giving you a real quick rundown if I can find that in my stats. And again, these are all, I don't know, you won't call them made up numbers because they're all what if numbers, right? But if you looked at his passing numbers, Marcel Hartle, his expected assists, Marcel Hartle is at 8 expected assists. So he has a total of 3, I believe, on the season. 4. Now, well, maybe in all competitions. I think FB Ref looks at it as.
No, I guess so.
Yeah, FB Ref says
right,
3.
You're right.
So he's underperforming by about 6 there. So yeah, he should have about 6 more assists according to FB Ref. I wonder how many of those were to Klaus. I hate to say it that way, or to Betcher.
Again with this, so like it's not because these are the stats of how the games were played.
Yep.
This season, and our team was awful in general in all areas. So it's hard for a player, even a UDP, to perform better or get more. But like I'm just gonna say because of this. If you go to his breakthrough season in St. Pauli, he played 37 games. He scored 21 goals and got 14 assists. This season, he has played 30 games and has 6 goals and 4 assists. Last year, he played 13 games with us and scored 5 goals and 5 assists. So he has 1 more assist last year than this year, and he has 1 more goal this year than last year. But he only played 13 games last year. So if you evaluate him at the way that he performed last year when he was here in 13 games, then on 30, at least you should have, if you double it, I know it's not a perfect math. No, never is gonna be a perfect math that you double what you double on your games, but at least you would have 10 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
And you are in 6 and 4.
That would have been that's some close to 500.
You know, so that's what I'm talking about. Where yes, I know the stats through the season gonna tell you that he might just been doing what the chances that he had, he's doing okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I was expecting him to create more and get more. But it also involves the team. It's not just him that he needs to create him. It's the team that he has to build out upon. So, and I think like RDPs and Klaus and Lewin are in the same boat. It's just because our team was not creating enough that our numbers in that specific area, the stats of goals and assists are not high when we were expecting more as DPs. It's like the way that we compare with Dryer. But Dryer, how many chances have San Diego has created through the season? How many competitive games being on the front end, winning games to the point that the other teams leave spaces behind, that they, like all those things relate to having more chances and more opportunities to score. I think like I watched the LAFC and San Diego game, and the great goal that he scores was a counter attack because LAFC left a lot of space behind. But why they were doing that? Because San Diego was up front. Like San Diego was winning or tying or whatever, but he was still on the game. Many of our games we have been behind, we have no chances.
That's facts.
Well, I mean, they're more clinical. I mean, they have, let's see, in terms of shots, just comparing them. I mean, no, I'm serious. If you think about it, we actually have more shots taken this year than San Diego FC. And granted, that's again, well, yeah, again, that's going to be skewed. But even if you took out 43 shots, we'd still be more than them. Even if you didn't count the 43 shots we had in the last game, we'd still have outshot them. The difference is we don't finish. San Diego's tied for the league lead with 54 goals, and we're down here at 33. They have a much higher rate for goals per shot on target than City. They're second in the league with goals per shot on target. We are fifth so we're 25th. I mean, again, not to get crazy in the stats, but we're terrible. I mean, I would also mention they are overperforming their expected goals. They've scored, much like we did in our inaugural season. San Diego is 10 goals over their expected goal total. Meanwhile, we're the worst in the league at minus 8.8.
They'll meet us there for very soon.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, it's sometimes it's quality, because I mean, Dreier's salary, I just looked it up. Dreier is only making $300,000 more than Marcel Hartl. So to me, it is an absolutely fair comparison. I know we got Hartl on a free where they paid a fee for Dreier, but that notwithstanding, to me, and again, maybe it's not a one-to-one comparison. No player is ever a one-to-one to another player, right, in terms of skills and abilities necessarily. But I don't think it's an unfair comparison to look at Anders Dreier and say, man, Hartl could maybe do some of that. Unless you think that's a fallacy. Like, you can't look at the pay and say that that's fair. Maybe that's a fallacy, because I think maybe that's part of the struggle too, is knowing that they make equal money and expecting them to be similar, but maybe they won't be.
Well, if their task is different.
Yes. And also, you don't see Dreier going all over the place trying to collect the ball. He stays committed to what his positioning is, what his role is, and creating those options in the front. And two, so like, to compare, let's see Dreier maybe had 2023 and 2023-24. He had a good season, 21 goals, 9 assists. Mm-hmm. Last year, he only had 5 goals, 7 assists in Anderlecht, with similar amount of games. So this game seems like it went better, but not like his best on his career. But his best in his career was out of the blue, basically. Like, it's the only time like he has scored that many goals in one season. So maybe gets the same bug as Hartl, and next year doesn't do as much. I mean, he's a new player on the league. People don't know how to mark him. Maybe next year they learn a little bit of how to mark him.
Oh, they will.
Better. So if he's that good, then he continue to do what he's doing this year. But it's fair and unfair at the same time. Like, it was the same thing that happened in the first year of City, when nobody knew how to mark City, and then second year everybody knew how to mark City, and then Hartl and Teuscher came in and nobody knew how to contain them, and now everybody knows how to contain them.
Oh, right. And I do think I noticed one difference. And again, I know this is maybe not fair, but if we're just going to compare them real quickly, and I'm going to steal the screen, guys, if it'll let me. So I wanted to show the heat maps between, and as soon as the comment goes away, you'll see what I'm talking about. I think the thing that sticks out to me, if you look in the box here at Anders Dreier, how much on the right-hand side there do you see him with really red, high volume, dangerous positioning inside the 18? And if you look at the image on the left, it's nowhere near that dark of a red for Marcel Hartl. So I think that just shows you, I mean, where is he able to get into positionally when it comes to the system in San Diego, putting him in a position to be impactful, versus where we have to use Hartl to help really be our main source of ball progression, or a main cog to help move the ball into the final third, which often pulls him out of places to be the most dangerous, I feel like. And sure, some of that might be skewed by the way that we played under Olaf early in the first 15 games. But I thought that's an interesting point to bring up in the conversation.
It will be interesting if you could find a heat map of Hartel from last year. Like
Oh yeah, I can do that right now. Hold on.
the games
You
from
ask,
last year.
you'll receive.
Hold on. All right. Here's Marcel Hartel. On the right is 2024, and on the left is this season. So you see a lot more volume in the middle, it looks like. Higher density in the left side as well, perhaps.
Yeah, it's interesting. It doesn't touch the box much.
I think what's interesting too is look in 2025 or 24. There's nothing in the middle. 25, he's almost filled in that middle circle.
Yeah,
but you're right. Yeah.
I was expecting more on the box, but
hang on. Let's look at what he did in St. Pauli. So here's 23, 24 for St. Pauli. You can see he does have more touches in the box. So it's still not as dark as what we see here, but it's interesting.
I mean that tells you a little bit of how this style of play and how maybe like you can't compare really to Dryer, because look how Dryer focusing on being in that corner of the box where he can just turn and finish basically.
Yeah. So, so I don't know. Again, I just thought that was interesting because sometimes stats and everything doesn't always tell the story, right? It's a conversation we seem to constantly be having on this, on our show here, as we move forward. But yeah, there's all three of them side by side. Not the biggest. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit, or zoom out now that I've zoomed in too much. There we go. So yeah, it's just interesting. So the middle is his St. Pauli season, left is this season, and then there's Dryer, since that's the conversation piece. But yeah, Dryer seems to definitely be more prominently involved in the attack, at least in this final 18 here. So anyway, yeah,
makes sense. Look at that. We all went from videos to graphics to heat maps. I like it.
Oh, he wants Dryer last year. Well, I'll have to see if I can put that on my socials. I'll pull that later.
Just for you, Matt. Just for you.
Yeah, just for you. So, guys, we're now winless in 4. I think we had three consecutive losses, and now a draw, if memory serves correctly on what we've done. Because I think it was a win, 3 losses, and now a draw. And now we're going to be set to play Montreal, who have not lost in their last 5.
Yay!
In Montreal. Montreal has draws against Atlanta, DC United, and Toronto, so not very good teams they've drawn. They've beat New England and they beat Austin. New England isn't so 4 of those 5 were against really questionable kind of us teams. Their last loss was July 19th against Chicago Fire. So any optimism?
No,
they played well. They played well in Canada. They just got screwed over. So maybe it will follow that as long as they don't get screwed over in Canada.
Well, I mean, it is in a way a game that is important for the Wooden Spoon. Not only because we're trying to unfortunately distance ourselves from Edgar's Galaxy team. Montreal is not many ahead of City. If I look at the standings here, Montreal is. So we have. Oh, I know why I see what I did. Sorry, I split that in terms of home and away. I was confused. So Montreal is sitting on 24 points. City sitting on 22. If we were to beat Montreal, we could climb above them and potentially above DC United if they don't win. And maybe start to bridge our gap between us and the Wooden Spoon with just 5 games to play. But Oscar said he had no optimism for this one.
Oh, did I stutter?
No, I just wanted to make sure I heard. I look. I just have to make sure I
Man.
heard you correctly so that I can tell you, when you're wrong and we win. But no, in all
Boy.
seriousness, I understand.
I've just a little bit of it. Why not?
I just don't see it.
Well, I mean, it's the first time we've ever played Montreal, so we have never played Montreal. They've never been to Energizer Park, so Stade Saputo, I believe, is the pronunciation of their home ground. Where this year Montreal has gone. Let me see if I can get you their home and away split real quick. They have just 2 wins.
They're
at
not
home.
great at home. Yeah, they're not
No,
great at
they're
home.
no, they've lost 7, they've won 2, and they've drawn 5. So 2-5-7 record at home. They actually have more points on the road and a better goal differential on the road. So maybe one of those weird opportunities where City gets a
Yeah.
win.
I mean, they're the
Um,
worst team at home.
Yeah, you're one of them for sure. You might I think you're right
Yeah,
on that actually.
they are. They have
Yeah.
11 points. New England has 11 points too, but they had 1 more win, but 2 more losses. So, but they tied a lot, but they also lose. Now, City, on the other hand, on their away games,
You don't want to talk about that.
cha-cha-cha-cha,
You don't want to talk about that. We're
we
1-11-2.
we
Or
are
1-2.
the worst in the league as well. So it's the worst against the worst.
Oh, so Sunday night soccer?
Is that Sunday night soccer? Really?
No, I'm kidding.
No,
it was a
it's
I was
not.
joke.
say. Yeah,
It was that would be the best game for Sunday night soccer.
you know how much
I
hate
think
we
I
will
think
be
that
getting?
game should be a Friday in the afternoon, so nobody watch it.
We will be watching it, but hey,
Yeah, we'll be watching.
yeah, it's
Oh,
funny.
man.
I think
No.
the stadium is named after their chairman of the club. I just was. It was interesting.
Yeah,
Stade
I mean they're
Alright,
leading.
so
They're leading. Go ahead, Oscar.
no, I was gonna say we went very long today, so
Yeah.
Yes.
but yeah, I'm not thinking it's being the worst against the worst. I think I'm gonna give it the advantage to the home worst instead of the away worst. Um, I do have hopes, and this is probably what last I'm gonna say. I do have hopes that we win the last 2 home games.
That would be perfect.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, their leading goal contributor is Prince Osei Owusu, who they got from Toronto FC earlier this season. He's got 15 goal contributions. Other than that, their next leading goal contributor was Dante Seeley with 7, and then Luca Petrasso with 5. So they're not an extremely dangerous team. They do also have Giacomo Veroni, the former New England Revolution man. So they've got some interesting pieces, but I don't know. I feel like this is a game. Weirdly, strangely enough, is this where the stars aligned, and maybe this is a game City can get something from on the road? I mean, crazier things have happened, right?
Yes, indeed. But with that said, I think that was probably the perfect way to close that out. Anything else you guys would like to cover? Because for me, City's still going to win 2-1. So that's my prediction for the game. What about you guys?
I'll be
Caution to the
I'll be the extremely
Go ahead.
positive mind, and I will say 1-1. That's the
I-
most positive I can get.
I'm going reckless optimism. We're going with a 2-0 win. We're getting a clean sheet on the road, boys.
God damn, if that happens.
Hey, I won't be mad.
And Edgar is right. Would have thought that they fired Wilfred Nancy.
That's true.
They're kicking themselves in the rear.
You know, the
But
same way
hey,
some cities
Sound-
think.
It sounds
ahead.
familiar with some guy named Cornell.
Yeah, but
That's what I was
think
going to say.
but I think it's worse with the other one because he went to Columbus and then won the MLS Cup.
Well, Philadelphia is not really far from that.
Yeah, true that. True that.
All
Oh, look at
right.
that. We got a friend.
Very
Yep.
late, guys. Thanks for
See,
Thanks for joining.
see, that's why we
Uh,
like Edgar. Look at that 2-1 victory. See,
there you go.
he's a smart man. But with that said, thank you all for joining another episode of Top Corner Talk. We went a little long because we really needed that therapy session. So hope guys that helped you guys. But with that said, peace out.